And so I believe that currently the largest elephant in the room is the fact that we're only focusing on this very narrow group of people that we currently have in the space, which is about 100 million users. But the really large and obvious fact should be that we have almost 8 billion people in the world. And these people would happily start participating in this new and exciting ecosystem if things would be simple enough for them to participate. And so taking this one step further, we put a lot of thought into what this would mean in practice. And I cannot stress enough how difficult it is to build two of these elements, very tricky elements at the same time. So just building the Elrond architecture and delivering has been sort of a walk through hell from a pain and difficulty standpoint. Yeah. But then it was almost like you would do nightmare squared when you're trying to do a second element that's again fundamental, and then you care a lot about what's being built there. So coming maybe to Maiar, the idea with Maiar is to have the simplest interaction with blockchain technology for the average end user. And the reason for that, again, is that if we can make things extremely simple so that you don't have to understand anything about the blockchain space, you don't have to understand protocols, private keys, other stuff like that, you just can taste the benefits immediately of what it means to transfer money anywhere in the world at a very, very low price, incomparable to anything that you would have. And then using this with your friends, and then using it with several currencies at first, it would be almost obvious to you why this technology would be needed in the world. When you have a username on top of that, which we call a hero tag, then it really is almost common sense from a standpoint. Everything I'm saying here is not even groundbreaking. It should be so common sense that it's surprising it has not been done for so much time. So of course, at the end of January, we launched Maiar. We grew very, very rapidly for any type of blockchain interface. So we have crossed something like 266,000 users in a very short time span. We are pushing super hard on this front, testing a lot of things. But of course, we just launched staking, which is by far the simplest version of staking in the entire ecosystem, with more than 20,000 users participating in staking in a new protocol. This is tremendously exciting because it shows you a bit how the user behave, what their interest, curiosity is, and it's just a starting point. There are a lot of really cool features. If you think about DeFi and NFTs, there have been, again, these two fundamental problems applied to them. Performance. If you don't have performance, DeFi is just a simple game that you play with another 10 people. And this has been the DeFi space in a nutshell. Very few people that understand different things. Then if you want to scale it and put it at a global scale and let everyone start playing the game, it's very important to have a fundamental basis that's compelling. And then secondly, imagine what DeFi would be if you can onboard millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and billions of users. This is how the world, I believe, will look during the next period, not in years, but this year. This is why, again, we're very, very excited, not even mentioning NFTs, which I believe, just in a nutshell, again, NFTs will do for artists what startups did for tech people. So it will give them a fundamental outreach and impact incomparable to anything else that has existed, especially natively digital, right? So this will be the superpower of artists. And we'll probably see with this type of wave, the largest blockchain adoption, just because culture will absorb this technology. Once the artists can play and tell better stories through this technology, they will tell the stories that will make you love the technology and will drive it in your home, on TV and everywhere else, just because it really helps and it really improves a lot of people's lives. We're very, very excited both for Elrond and for Maiar, but even more excited of all these cool things that are coming right now, whether it's the DeFi 2.0 module with a swap, with the lending platform, synthetics, Launchpad, and so forth, and with the fact that Maiar will have this integrated as a second element and NFTs. So it's almost like it's an endless stream of excitement and entertainment that we can push forward. So epic.
Epic indeed. Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it, it's like embracing the idea of composability in across all the different pieces of the Elrond ecosystem. It's, you know, when you implement DeFi on the Elrond network, you can enable users to utilize those DeFi protocols easily from Maiar, and then those new users drive more resources to create better DeFi decentralized applications, and that I think is a difficult balance to strike. But that's why I've been an admirer of Elrond for a while now, and it's definitely good to hear about the vision. But as we sort of come to a natural conclusion, I would love to hear from you maybe like what to expect from Elrond in terms of developments in the balance of 2021. Like where do you see the path going other than what we already discussed about adoption?
I do believe that one of the most underestimated elements is the fact that everything we see as either a metric, whether it's prices, because people love to look at the prices elements, market caps, and so forth, is a function of users. So the question should always be, is there a new category of users, a new community of users, a new group of users that we can onboard? Because if we can do that, I believe we will see a growth, a speed of growth that will be unparalleled to anything we've experienced. And granted that in the blockchain space, things have been fundamentally different to anything people have experienced in the normal and traditional economy and business sectors. Even for the tech sector, it's very different. The blockchain space is running at a different speed, and there are even some larger opportunities, I would say. But the next period, I believe, will focus on these two elements, building some of the Googles and Facebooks and Amazons on top of a blockchain technology that goes beyond the initial hype. So we see a lot of use cases that are cool, interesting, and so forth. But I would love to see someone that's as passionate and willing to go through the hell of building something extremely ambitious that can challenge Facebook, that can challenge Google, that can challenge Amazon, or invent new categories that we've not even seen yet. So this is one of the themes. The next Amazons and Googles are perhaps one smart contract away, and contributing, enabling this will be extremely rewarding and extremely exciting. And then the second element is the obvious thing. Will very likely see software eating finance for the first time, but in a way where things are natively digital, because we always had this transition from a analog version of products to a semi-digital version of products to a fully digital and natively digital version of products. And I believe we, even with money, we had money that was physical and so forth. Then we had this fintech companies that were basically partly digital and partly still relying on the old payment rails and so forth. And now we are at the point where we can, for the first time, fundamentally imagine things fully digital without having the constraints of the physical world. And having this possibility means that we will completely rethink money in a way that's helpful to us, to people all over the world, in a way that's accessible to anyone in the world. And whether we believe, whether we're discussing like something like a unit of account, a medium of exchange, a store of value, or a debt instrument, all of this are fundamentally rethought and reimagined within this new space. And I'm already excited about this theme that we coined, the autonomous banking era. The way that we see the financial space work is essentially a set of microservices that allow you to transfer, exchange, lend, create any kind of synthetics and so forth, or launch any type of startups, projects, and so forth. Also interoperate with all this kind of new layers that come out. But any nation, any institution, any bank, any business or startup or individual will be able to equally interact with the services, either via an interface, normal interface like Maiar, or via an API. And at that point, you'll just have a super cycle. I think people are too, because they've been burned at some point in the past, they're now very, very scared, almost too scared when they see adoption, when they see things like prices going up and so forth. They don't look at the fundamentals. They very much just try to look, prices go up, this is not good. It must be not good, it's problematic. But the maybe interesting question is, do we have adoption? Do we have fundamentals in place to really enable the next wave, big wave of adoption to come in? Because if we have, what we have right now is not even 1% of what we'll see. And we have this thesis where we believe that this will be a $100 trillion opportunity for the entire ecosystem. So 100 trillion is an insane amount of money, but I do believe that what blockchain brings, as I said, both in terms of performance and in terms of accessibility to the entire world, can essentially not only improve the entire economy, help it work a lot more effectively across the entire spectrum, but will also create new sectors, new business models. And it's probably the greatest time to be alive. So I would really encourage both the technical people and the business people and the people in the general community to take a close look at the tools that we have, to just come with feedback, to make sure that test Maiar. A lot of new features are coming to Maiar. We're going to add Bitcoin. We're going to probably add some more other currencies that we believe have fundamental value. But other features will come in, and we have a few that we've not not even touched on, not even discussed yet, because they would be too exciting, and we don't sort of want to push them out until they're ready. But it's a tremendous time to be alive.